Ladies and gentlemen, come one, come all, for it is finally time for what can well be known as Nigel Farage hitting his high notes on schooling a British mainstream media host who, as far as I'm concerned, walked into this interview with a shovel, ready to dig themselves down further. I must say, it does not disappoint. Now just imagine, Nigel Farage has just finished his trip to Mar-a-Lago, and the host is already at her warmest about tightening the screws on him. And oh yes, she is trying. Let's get started.
I was very, very honoured, frankly, to be at Mar-a-Lago, to watch the results come through. I've been friends with Donald Trump for many, many years, and it was a stunning victory.
Some people, though, are questioning all the same why you travel thousands of miles across the Atlantic to be there when you should be in Parliament representing your own constituents.
Because we're closer to World War III than we've been at any point in my lifetime, and we need a strong American president, a pro-British American president, because frankly, without a good relationship with America, we are defenseless, and I think that really matters. And yes, of course, I took a couple of days out to do it. I believe it was absolutely the right thing to do.
The host kicks things off with the big question, and Nigel, unfazed as always, calmly responds, well, right. Nothing starts a conversation with small talk so effectively as World War III. Honestly, if one ever had to worry about their seat for the audition for the role of Britain's chief diplomat, one would suppose they could give this audition by that phrase. Forget the fact that he's not even in government. He's got a point, doesn't he? I mean, when the stakes are that high, who cares about a couple of missed committee meetings in Parliament? And can we talk about the irony? A British politician hopping across the Atlantic to campaign for better UK-US relations while being called out for not sitting at his desk.
You talked about being on the verge of World War III. What are the things that you think are important to get the UK-US relations back on track?
Well, obviously there's a problem. It was diplomatic stupidity to send 100 Labour staffers to America to campaign for Kamala Harris. That really was a very dumb thing for the Labour Party to have done. We've also got the very disobliging comments that have been made by our Foreign Secretary about Donald Trump.
The discussion now turns towards UK-US relations. Nigel rushing straight into it, calling Labour's sending of 100 staff to campaign for Kamala Harris diplomatic stupidity. Let's just stop for a second. It sounds like some second-rate sitcom scenario when you plan to send an infantry battalion of Britons to mess around in the US elections. What was the idea? Teach Kamala how to pronounce aluminum.
With the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has been a 10-year feud. So things need to normalise and normalise quickly. But
that's not the end of it, though. He also takes deadly aim against Sadiq Khan, regarding this as the 10-year feud he had with Trump, as well as against the UK Foreign Secretary for disobliging comments in the first place about Trump. Disobliging. That's that kind of polite British shade which is a code word for please stop embarrassing us.
Our relationship with America is our single most important relationship in the world, whether it comes to intelligence, defence, as I previously mentioned, or indeed trade. I think what the Labour government needs to do is to roll out the red carpet. I'm very, very pleased that the Speaker of the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, has already said that President Trump will be asked to address both houses of Parliament next year. That's a start, but we need to keep going. Don't forget, Trump has promised to put 10% tariffs on all goods coming into America from around the rest of the world, and we need to be negotiating hard once they appoint a trade secretary so that we can avoid that.
But hold on, it gets better with Nigel's solution. Roll out the red carpet. Yes, you heard him. Forget tea and crumpets. Just roll that carpet from Heathrow to Westminster and let Trump feel like the King of England. Because, according to Nigel, our relationship with America is our single most important relationship in the world. And you know what? He's not wrong. Intelligence, defence, trade. Nigel's got his checklist, and he is not deviating from it.
It is a special relationship, but we obviously see you going out to America. It's a second time now, isn't it? You went back when President Trump was shot. You went out then as well. It does seem like this is Nigel Farage's special relationship with Donald Trump. If you're able to bend his ear, tell us, has Labour been on the phone to you today? Are they asking for your help?
Not today, no. Not today, no. I have had some conversations in the past, and I've made it very clear to senior Labour figures that if I can help smooth relations in any way, I will.
It is time now for a bit of cheeky jibe. The host accuses Nigel of having a special relationship with Trump, not in the sense of the UK and US, but more in the sense of personal bromance. What she's going for is, Nigel, you are more infatuated by Trump than by Netflix, with true crime documentaries. Nigel, of course, brushes it off, remarking that he has had conversations with senior Labour figures, and he is happy to smooth things over. And then, the subtle flex.
To senior Labour figures, that if I can help smooth relations in any way, I will. And by the way, it isn't just my relationship with Donald Trump that's important. I reckon at least half the cabinet that he appoints will be people that I've known for many years and know very well. And I don't agree with anything the Labour government's doing, but our relationship in terms of trade, intelligence and defence, that is a matter of national interest. And if I can help with any of that, I will.
Half the cabinet? Nigel Farage is out here acting like he has Trump's speed dial pinned to his favourites. What next? But here's the thing. He's right again. Love him or hate him, Farage is one of the few British politicians who actually knows the players in Washington. And let us not forget about the host's failed attempt to catch him out. The accusation of putting Trump above his constituents backfires because Nigel is very clear. He will cooperate with anybody, Labour, Conservatives, or any other person, for the benefit of Britain. It's almost as though he's saying, look, I don't care who is in charge. I just don't want us left out in the cold.
We do have to question some of his past, don't we? He is a convicted criminal. He's made sexist and racist remarks in the past. He's also shown a total disregard for democracy. What is it that you like about Donald Trump?
Well, just remember, after your comments, he's just been elected the President of the United States in something akin to a landslide.
The host, who is still trying to land a punch, changes tactics. And this is where Nigel's face says it all. But now he plays one of the oldest tricks in the book. He has just been elected the President of the United States. Translation: yeah, say what you want, but the guy just won. Deal with it.
I believe the world is a safer place with Donald Trump. If you look at the 4 years he had as president, I think the crowning achievement at the end were the Abraham Accords, where Israel and Arab states signing treaties together, trading together, cooperating with each other. That was an amazing achievement, which sadly now has been smashed to pieces by Iran's proxies. He was the first American president for years not to launch a new war. He even had the guts to cross the line into North Korea. I think the world was a much safer place, and 4 years of Biden, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the Taliban back in charge, Putin invading Ukraine, the Middle East in flames, none of those things would have happened if Trump had been in the White House.
But then, Nigel does take the throat by stating, the world is a safer place because of Donald Trump. He brings in the historic Abraham Accords, that is, the peace deal between Israel and Arab states, and cites that Trump has not launched any wars, not to mention his wild, gutsy crossing of North Korea. It's like how he says it, and not the words, calm, composed, and unbothered by the barrage. It's watching someone dodge pies in a circus. Only Nigel isn't even sweating.
How do you square that, though, with yourself? The fact that when you hear that he's sexist, he's racist, he's a convicted criminal, yes, he might have got a strong mandate. I mean, how do you square that?
He is the elected President of the United States. You can say what you like about him. He's just won an election. He's won it handsomely. And our relationship with him and his administration is vital for our national interest in the next few years.
OK, Nigel Farage, thank you very much.
But the host tries again. Of course, Nigel's response is typical Farage. That's all. The story is done. Mic drop. Pretty much an argument that has no space for negotiation. Like it or not, Trump is back, and Nigel makes it clear that the UK better learn to deal with it. What have we learned from it all? First, Nigel Farage is Teflon. It's like politically, nothing sticks. The accusations, every single criticism, are thrown by the host, and Nigel just swats them away like it was political ping-pong. Second, whether you agree or disagree with him, Farage has done a great deal about how the UK relates to America. Messy, yes, because it is vital too. And if the British government cannot put aside their personal feelings about Trump, then they might need to call on Nigel and his little black book of Washington contacts. Third, and possibly most important, This interview demonstrated how to keep your own. The House has the host trying to paint him as some opportunist obsessed about Trump, while Nigel turns it over such that he appears the only adult in a child's room. Some people may have thoughts about him, but Farage knows how to play the game. Better luck next time, dear host. More power to you, Nigel. May that red carpet continue to roll. Who knows? Maybe one day one of those invites will pop up for you without having to snoop in as a +1 with Trump into the White House.